Yo, YouTube, what's up? Let's get it. We talking more about the NBA, all the off-season moves, all the shit that's going on. And today we got James Harden, right, taking a much more money than he probably could have got on the open market, right? If he chooses to go anywhere else besides the 76ers, he probably could get max dollars. No telling for how long. Maybe for 2 or 3 years he can make 50 million a year, right? But he decides to stay with the Philadelphia 76ers, which is a good move for the Sixers just off the strength of, even though James Harden may not be Houston James Harden, he still is a top, at least a top 20 player, maybe a top 15 player, right? So with that being said, us keeping, or the 76ers keeping James Harden at just about around 29 million a year, that's a good deal for the 76ers. I don't know if they're able to make this deal without Daryl Morey being there. I don't know if we're able to make this deal without James Harden needing the 76ers as he do, because it's not going to be a very good look for him if he goes somewhere else. Excuse me. It's not going to be a good look for him if he goes somewhere else and he doesn't put up great numbers, and it's not going to look good for him if he goes somewhere else and doesn't win an NBA title. And it most definitely is not going to look good if he goes somewhere else and he quits on another team. Or if he quits on the 76ers and just goes to another team, it's just not going to look well for him, right? And to be quite honest, this is probably the best position he can put himself in to win a title, right? I talked about this already, and I felt like, what they had going on. I talked about this when they first lost in the playoffs. And what they had going on at that particular moment, it did look like they had enough to, compete next year for a title at least. Like, if they went into the next season, if he would have took that max money and we wasn't able to bring on a couple players that we was able to bring on, like House, who is a very good player to me. PJ Tucker, we know what he do. I forget the dude name from the dude name from the G League, but you got the dude from the G League who apparently won the MVP. And they was able to acquire another guy from Memphis, which when he was in the game he looked good. Didn't get to play too much, but when he was in the game he played well, right? I say all that to say, you needed James Harden to take less money. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't take less money, they wasn't gonna be able to compete for a title. Even though he took less money, it still doesn't even guarantee that they're gonna be able to compete for a title, but it definitely upped the chances. Them grabbing those couple players that they grabbed definitely upped the chances. It's small chances. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're acquiring KD or Giannis and it gives you a huge jump in what you're able to do on the floor. But the NBA championship is, you being able to win an NBA championship is sometimes just small little tweaks that you need to make, just to get over the hump. And one thing for sure, two things for certain. If they didn't make these acquisitions, they definitely wasn't going to be able to win an NBA chip with just what they already had, on a roster. So, you know what I'm saying? With that being said, I gotta give James Harden major credit for taking less money. About 20 million less than what he could have got, right? About 20 million less per year. So, you know what I'm saying? You gotta give James Harden his credit on that, which I do. And honestly, I think it gives the 76ers a better chance at winning an NBA title. You know what I'm saying? Even if it doesn't happen, he still gave themselves a better chance, and that's really all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yes, it is a hard thing to leave 20 million on the table per year. So ultimately, over time, he was leaving 40 million on the table. But you know what I'm saying? James Harden has made his money, right? And either way it goes, he rich forever. You know what I'm saying? As long as obviously, as long as you manage your money correctly, and you know what I mean, you get into the right business deals, or if you just don't spend money, you know what I mean, he's rich forever. And I just believe he put himself in the best position that he could to win a championship, and ultimately that's what he says. He says today, right now, his only goal is to win an NBA title. That's pretty much the only jewelry. That's the only award that he's missing. Even if he doesn't win a Finals MVP, he still, if he wins an NBA title, that puts him in a great position for his legacy, and puts him in a great position for life after basketball. You know what I mean? Winning championships puts you in a great place in the sense of, you know what I'm saying, you can make more business moves, and your legacy is what's going to carry you to, these big opportunities at, like I said, life after basketball. So, with all of that being said, I think the PG Tucker was a good pickup. The house move was a good pickup. And the other two acquisitions they made was definitely good pickups. And they're going to be a better team than they was last year. Them getting rid of Danny Green, I think, was a major thing that they needed to do. Danny Green has had a great career. He had a good time in Boston. I mean, not in Boston, in San Antonio. He did his thing in San Antonio. He was even able to go to Toronto with Kawhi Leonard. He was able to win a chip over there. And over there, even when he was in Toronto, I didn't think he played all that well, but he was able to fit into that system, and he was able to contribute and help them win a title. So you can't take that credit from him, but I definitely think his best years was in San Antonio, and ever since then, it was a downhill type of thing. So, like in LA, he won another chip. I didn't like him over there, though. I didn't like him in LA at all. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think the Lakers let go of him. Because he just wasn't contributing on a high level like he was able to do once upon a time. So, we'll see what the Sixers is able to do. By no stretch of my imagination, do I think these picks put them over the top and just solidifies or guarantees anybody a championship. But who knows? Like, this could very well put them over the top, and maybe they can make at least a deeper run. If they can get into the finals this year, I would consider that a successful year, in the sense of they've been able to get further than they have in the past few years, right? Because they haven't been able to get it out the second round. As deep as far as it seemed like they went that year with Jimmy Butler when they played against Toronto, and they lost with that lucky ass buzzer beater shot by Kawhi Leonard. They really didn't go that far. It was only the second round. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed as though they went much deeper, because it felt like if they would have won that game, maybe they could have won the whole thing. You know what I mean? Especially when Toronto was able to, get through and finish that thing off, and, ultimately win the NBA championship. But if you ask a lot of people, right, you would probably consider the 76ers to be a better team than Toronto was that year. But Sixers just wasn't able to pull it off, and they just they haven't been able to get to that point again since Jimmy Butler left. So, with all that being said, my take is I commend James Harden for taking less money. I commend James Harden for trying to put himself in the best position to win an NBA title, and not being so selfish and only worried about himself, even though it is hard to give up that type of money, and it's hard for me to say, like, oh, that dude should have gave up yada yada yada, especially $20 million a year. But at the end of the day, he's made a good amount of money, and he can be rich forever, regardless. His family coming behind him can be rich forever, and you just gotta you just gotta make good business moves going in the future, so that the money is stretch out as long as it can. You know what I'm saying? Which should be forever, right? If you make the right business moves. So yeah, ultimately I feel like he put himself in the best position. He made himself more comfortable playing around players that he's already played around in house. And PJ Tucker is gonna help them, even though he's old. He leave every ounce of everything he got. He leave it all on the floor every single game. A lot of it's on the defensive end. A lot of it is, shooting corner threes. A lot of it doesn't show up in the stat sheets, but everybody knows in the NBA the type of value that PJ Tucker brings to a team. And House was just on his way to, becoming, a good two-way player right before, he had all of that bubble situation and things didn't pan out right for him. And ultimately, Houston let him go. I think he went to the Timberwolves, if I'm not mistaken. If he didn't go there, he went somewhere else. But the bottom line is, what they was building over there in Houston, and when he was playing alongside James Harden, he was putting work, man. I like what House was doing over there. And if he can do what he was doing in Houston over here for us, man, that can help us instrumentally. And just the fact of him replacing Danny Green, I think that's an upgrade right there in itself. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably like a smaller acquisition than PJ Tucker. So we'll see, man. The Sixers definitely making moves in this offseason. I like the acquisition of Daryl Morey. I just like what he's doing and bringing to the table alongside Elton Brand. I don't think Elton Brand is as good as bringing in these players and making the right decisions, but I think they might, for some odd reason, they like Elton Brand. They like something that he's bringing to the table, so they kept him on the team alongside with Daryl Morey. So we'll see how all the things pan out. So, and like I said, overall they are moving in the right direction, and hopefully maybe they can make some more moves during the regular season that put them over the top. But as of right now, they still got some more work to do, although they are moving in the right direction. But we'll see how things pan out towards the end of the season.